Shane Van Gisbergen just had the kind of night that's supposed to change everything. The kind of race that flips a narrative, silences doubters, and proves a point that's been hanging over your career for years. And somehow, it still turned into a warning sign. Because what happened at Bowman Gray Stadium didn't just expose how good SVG can be on ovals, it exposed how small his margin for survival in NASCAR has quietly become. This was meant to be a reset. New season, new number, fresh air around Trackhouse racing, a chance to show that 2025 wasn't just a road course fluke. But Bowman Gray doesn't hand out confidence easily. It's tight, loud, aggressive, and unforgiving. And early on, it looked like it was about to swallow Shane Van Gisbergen whole. Starting deep in the field, SVG struggled just to stay out of trouble. He got pushed around, shoved into the marbles, and dropped all the way to the back. Over the radio, his voice wasn't angry yet, just stuck. No grip, no rhythm, no answers. And on a quarter-mile track, that's a dangerous feeling. Then the frustration crept in, bump after bump, door after door. SVG finally snapped and spun another driver on purpose, later admitting he'd simply had enough of being used up. That moment mattered, because it showed something fans haven't seen much from him: edge. NASCAR isn't just about speed, it's about drawing a line. But when you draw it the wrong way, people remember. That tension followed him straight into a brewing rivalry he didn't need. Last year, SVG and Daniel Suarez were teammates. This year, they're competitors, and it showed. Suarez raced him aggressively, and SVG noticed. Over the radio, he hinted that things felt different now that they weren't on the same side. Suarez fired back with a message of his own, promising payback. Suddenly, this wasn't just hard racing, it felt personal. And while some fans believe it was just Bowman Gray chaos doing what it always does, others think old Trackhouse chemistry is officially dead. Either way, SVG had another problem brewing, and he didn't even know the real twist was coming yet. Then the sky opened up. Rain, sleet, snow packed around the corners. Everything changed in minutes. Wet tires came out, and with them came a completely different Shane Van Gisbergen. This is where his past took over. Years of racing in brutal conditions overseas kicked in, and SVG came alive. While others slid and struggled, he sliced forward like the track finally made sense to him. 15 laps, 20, 40, cars disappeared in his mirrors. Within about an hour, he'd gone from the middle of the pack to the very front. And for the first time in his NASCAR career, SVG was leading an oval race. It wasn't fluky, it wasn't lucky, it was controlled, calm, measured. He searched for grip where others panicked, adapted corner by corner, and looked completely unbothered by the chaos. For a brief stretch, the conversation changed. This wasn't great road course guy learning ovals. This was maybe we were wrong about his ceiling. He fought with Ryan Preece up front and belonged there. No asterisk, no excuses. But Bowman Gray doesn't let stories end cleanly. As the track dried, the advantage that lifted SVG disappeared just as fast. The rubber laid down differently, the grip vanished, and little by little, control slipped away. Preece reclaimed the lead. Still, SVG held on to second with fewer than 40 laps to go, a result that would have shaken the entire paddock. A second-place oval finish here would have meant more than some wins. It would have changed how teams race him, how drivers defend him, how NASCAR fans talk about him. Then it all came apart in one corner. On a restart, Chase Briscoe got a run. He sent it deep, too deep. There was nowhere to go. The contact spun SVG around, and in seconds, the best oval run of his career was over. No yelling, no blame, just disappointment. Over the radio, he quietly said what everyone was thinking. That's a shame. And it really was. He restarted deep in the field, damage minimal, but opportunity gone. The finish didn't show what he'd done. P20 on paper, another stat critics could point to. And just to pile on, a late incident involving a teammate made the night feel even worse. Bowman Gray had given him a glimpse and then taken everything back. Afterward, SVG stayed upbeat, talking about fun, flashes of brilliance, and progress. But the calm didn't last long. Suarez was asked about their on-track issues, and he didn't soften anything. He framed SVG's spin as karma, as consequence. Race people hard, and they'll return it. Coming from a former teammate, it landed heavy. Some fans took Suarez's side. Others thought it was harsh. Either way, the message spread fast. SVG might already be earning a reputation. And here's the part that really matters. Even if SVG did nothing wrong, NASCAR may have already moved the ground beneath his feet. His entire 2025 season was built on dominance at road and street courses. 5 wins, all of them on layouts that rewarded precision and adaptability. That's how he made the playoffs. That's how he survived. But going into 2026, NASCAR quietly removed 3 tracks from the schedule: Chicago, Mexico City, and likely the Charlotte Roval. Every single one of them was a Shane Van Gisbergen win. Gone, just like that. Now there are only 3 road courses left, 3 chances to use his greatest weapon. Everything else? Ovals, superspeedways, places where mistakes cost everything and margins are razor thin. That means Bowman Gray wasn't just a chaotic exhibition race, it was a preview, a warning. SVG proved he can run up front on an oval when conditions shake things up, but NASCAR doesn't promise rain, or chaos, or equalizers. Most weeks, it's dry, fast, and unforgiving. And next up is the biggest oval of all, the Daytona 500, a track that's never been kind to him, a track where adaptation isn't optional, it's survival. This isn't about talent. That question was answered years ago. This is about time, about whether Shane Van Gisbergen can evolve faster than the sport around him is changing. NASCAR didn't just reduce his strengths, it forced him to find new ones. Bowman Gray showed a version of SVG that could make it work, but it also showed how quickly it can all disappear. And in a season with fewer safety nets than ever before, that might be the most dangerous truth of all.